What is up? In yesterday's video, I was comparing this tank to a medium tank and how you play it like an aggressive medium tank. And today is much of a continuation about that, and we are in Mines South. And you know how difficult it is to win on Mines South. The bias is on the north side. The north side, you can basically conquer the entire west side and pressure the center of the map in the donut position. Now if you're on the south team, what you really need to do is get aggressive into the donut, and if you can climb into the center hill, the mine, the donut, whatever you want to call it, you're going to more likely to win. But theoretically, I mean, anyone who's played this map, you know that the north side has a significant advantage. If you play it well, if you stick to the rules, you're going to win it 9 times out of 10. Now I'm coming to the position here that typically the medium tanks like to go, and I can get there because I have a little bit of speed. Oh, I bump into this tank. Now I'm going to give him a big shot there and makes him back off a bit. I'm going to use this house to give me time to reload and then show myself again and shoot him, and this time he shoots me on the track, which means I have time to back off and reload again, and once I'm ready I'm gonna go forward and finish him off. Now this tank is compared a lot to the Scorpion G, and it is very similar in many ways. The gun, people say the gun feels the same way. Well, it reloads slightly slower than the Scorpion G, maybe about half a second slower, just under 11 seconds. The dispersion is slightly worse than a Scorpion G, 0.32 dispersion, and even when you are traversing and moving, the dispersion values are very minuscule, like a tiny bit less than a Scorpion, slightly worse than a Scorpion, but it makes up for it in that 520 damage, 30 more average damage than a Scorpion G. And also the traversing part of the hull, the terrain resistance is exactly the same as a Scorpion G, but the effective traverse of the tank, the on hard surfaces, medium surfaces, and soft surfaces, it's a slightly better than the Scorpion. You can feel it when you are turning. When you're turning a turret, the turret traverses a little bit quicker than a Scorpion. The body traverses a little bit quicker than a Scorpion G. What it is slower is in the terrain resistance. Now, I don't know about the terrain resistances because there are a lot of like hidden stats that Wargaming is not showing us in the tanks GG or anywhere else. You can't find this anywhere, but you can feel a difference if you are driving around with a Scorpion G next to you. You can feel that Scorpion G has a little bit more speed, especially on soft ground, uneven ground, mud and stuff like that. The Scorpion G does a lot better climbing up hills, so it is worse in compared to the Scorpion G that way. But when you are stationary and you are traversing the hull, traversing the turret, it turns a little bit quicker than the Scorpion G. And of course, again, this tank is about that big alpha damage. When you are doing 500 damage to your enemies, they take notice, and nobody wants to go forward to take that first hit from you. And that's how it is you play with this tank. You can use that fear factor and use it to your advantage. Now I want to push into that E4 there, but I can't do this alone. Now remember, I am completely useless in this position. If I took up this position on my own, I would have been dead by now. But I have a little bit of support. I have a T-44, and then in the end this SU came to support us as well. If I just had the T-44 alone, I would still be able to do it because I have someone that has the DPM to cover me when I need to get back into safety to reload. Now nobody wants to take the hit, nobody wants to go forward. I decide, screw this, we don't really have the time. Because the enemy positions, they have locked down the center of the map, they have pushed up into the donut, and it is time that we made our move, and I had to make the call to push into that super purging because there was really no time. If we wasted too much time, they would have taken the hill and sniped us as we moved forward, or as we tried to drive across to get to the artillery on the west side. So now I'm mindful about the artillery here, so I want to make it quick. That was why I did the loop around to try and avoid the RT fire. And this is my chance now. I can take a big shot at this guy. He was looking the other way, and that's it, he was done. Now I want to make I don't have a lot of mobility, but I gotta try and keep myself moving just in case the artillery is gonna shoot us. I notice this guy climbing up to shoot me, and I prepare myself, have a little bit of aim. Okay, you can shoot me once, but I'm gonna take 500 plus or whatever off you and make you really hurt for it. Now they've done the right thing, the enemy team that is. They've gone down the west side, take control of K1, pushed into our TDs and taken control there. But they've waited too long to do this, and they're taking too long to kill that guy, which gives me an opportunity to come here and shoot them. But unfortunately, sometimes your shots just don't connect because you really need to fully aim into this tank. Especially that you don't have vents in this tank because it's an open top. You can bring a gun lane drive. You can have BIA crew. I have a 2.5 skilled crew. Like in this tank, it's not like the greatest crew, but it is sufficient. It was harder when I started off with that 2 skilled crew. In fact, I do not have any kind of Russian TD crew. I trained a completely fresh crew for this tank, and I used free XP to train them up to 2 skills, which there was a sale on the other day, 50% off, something like that. So the first skill BIA was 20 plus something thousand free XP, which I used, so that was like 80 something thousand for the first skill. And then for the second skill I did the 6 cents for the commander, and for the rest of them camouflage. And now that I've had a few games under the belt, I think I'm 2.8 skills into this tank. The third skill, of course, for the gunner, I took the snapshot thingy, or was it something to do with gun skills anyway. And the next skill I want for the driver, I really need to go for this terrain resistance thing, the driving on the thing that helps you drive better on I can't remember what it's called, but it's uneven roads or whatever. It helps you mitigate that slowness, that that lethargic driving, that was a nice blind shot there. I knew he was still there. Like, it's like the scorpion, traversing over mud and uneven ground. It's really terrible. I can't believe these guys are capping. If you are one of those guys that are capping when you are clearly winning the game, you are denying yourself opportunity to get more XP, because if you kill off the enemy, you are going to get more XP for the entire team. I tried to blind shot there, anticipating him crossing, but he wasn't there. But anyway, we go for the win, and in the end, this was an ace tanker, high caliber, top gun, over 5,000 damage. This was a really good game, and basically you just play aggressively if you have some support. If you have another medium tank with you, if you have another heavy tank with you, play aggressively. Find a place to hide when you need to reload, and you're good to go. Thanks for watching the video. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.